Jonah had some bad theology, it would appear. I think I can confidently say that. And it messes up his view of God it
Mm,
makes him kind of messed up, and it messes up the way that he sees God at work in the world.
mm,
The flip side of that, to come to where should this book take us, among other things, is in addition to what it teaches us about God very clearly, is that good theology does produce is to produce right behavior, right beliefs, right attitudes towards about grace, for example,
mhm,
and to come back to the problems to Abraham, the realization that the church today is to do good. God is doing good through the gospel to people indiscriminately because
mm,
grace is indiscriminate, and it's not ours to dictate that this person doesn't deserve it, whereas I do.
mhm,
Um, so I would say, secondly, there's a bit of a missional. It's a clear assertion, even in the Old Testament, where this idea is kind of in an embryonic form. That God is really committed to doing good to others outside of Israel, even the really bad others. But again,
mhm.
this is all relative. What's really bad mean?
Yeah.
And the answer is it ends up being irrelevant in the book of Jonah. And then thirdly, in terms of especially a Christian reading of the book, the supreme manifestation of God's grace is in Jesus Christ, who, as someone coming to a very undesirable place. So you get John 1, he comes to his own people, he's not received.
Mm,
Philippians 2, he humbles himself in ways that we as creatures don't fully understand, and which are superlative, all out of grace. So it's really a wonderful reminder of the way that the direction that the whole canon is pushing, um, in that Jonah's mission to a very undesirable population, so to speak, is in some ways an anticipation of Christ's own prophetic and other ministry, coming to a world that was not looking for them for the most part, and certainly didn't deserve any divine grace, and yet divine grace comes in spades.
yeah. One of the things as I've worked through this book that I've been thinking about is it a missionary book? Because there's so many sermons will focus. I've grown up in a Pentecostal tradition that has a big emphasis on missions, and so this is a favorite text to go to, as it is in
Mm,
many other traditions as well. But one of the things, as you've mentioned, that I've become more and more convinced of is that it's only a missionary book insofar as God is the missionary, right?
mm,
Like God is the one who
mm,
ensures that the message goes out because Jonah's not particularly interested, except for under threat of well or fish, as it would be.
mm,
And so I think that's a really important point. And then, of course, Jesus as the where a better Jonah. Jesus is the
mm,
better Jonah, but he's also God
mm,
incarnate, and so this missionary move of God actually comes to earth, and yeah, that indiscriminate grace is such a powerful message in the book because yeah, when I think, you can read stories of was it a Mennonite school was shot up years ago, and then I think it made the news that the at the at the trial, these people just showed
mm,
remarkable grace and forgiveness
mm,
to the person who was guilty. Um, but that's the exact type of situation
mm,
that many people, and I've never been in that situation, pray I never would rather die than extend grace to
mm,
some, that's the scale on which I think about Jonah is dealing with something that
mm.
dramatic.